Hello and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well and thanks for coming over and joining us for another video. Um, I've been promising you guys for quite a while now that I'm going to do some basic OBS videos to show you how to download OBS, install it, and then the basics of like bringing in cameras, screen transitions, adding a microphone, a little bit of noise cancellation. So I'm going to play around with that. This is going to be over 2, maybe 3 videos. I'm not going to go too deep into the actual picture quality settings because there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube that can teach you a lot more than what I can. So if you go over to YouTube and type in, let's say you want a better picture quality, that will bring you up and that can give you a lot more information than what I can give you. But I can give you the basics to get you started and hopefully make your life a little bit easier to start streaming or video. I never used to use OBS for video and I used to use 2 camcorders. But since I've managed to tweak my camera settings, I actually now use OBS to video as well as stream. And as you all know, my picture's a fairly good quality picture, which I'm really pleased with. So let's go over. Let's just teach you guys how to download and install OBS. Don't be frightened of it. It's just a piece of normal software. It's not high tech. It's very easy to use as long as you've got a little bit of guidance to do it. And that's hopefully where I come in to give you guys a little bit of confidence to just show you how to do it. So let's go over to the web page and find out where to find OBS, and I'll show you how to download it. Right, so the first thing we need to do is obviously download OBS. So the way you need to do that is go into your web browser, don't matter what you use, whatever web browser you go, and type in the search OBS. That will bring up a list, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're looking for the first one, which is OBS project. OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Software. So that's what we want. So we're going to click on that, and then it will take us to OBS Studio's webpage. So what we need to do now is download OBS for whatever machine you're using, depending on which one you're using of these 3. On Windows, so I'm going to download the Windows one. So we're going to download the Windows one, and then once that's downloaded, you then install it. I'm not going to install it because obviously I'm already got OBS installed, and it's just going to cause issues if I try and install it. So it's going to go for a procedure of asking you what drive you want it stored on, just like any other software you install. So once that's all installed, it should then ask you to launch it. So we've opened our OBS, and now what we need to do is we need to create our scenes um, to bring in cameras and microphones, noise cancellation, some filters to help the picture a little bit, and things like that. So first scene I'm going to create is intro. So as you can see, I've already created the scene there. So we're going to go to our sources, click on the plus button, and in there is a list of stuff that we can use to install stuff. So what we're going to do first is video capture device. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to call this cam1. And what we're doing is we need to find what camera we've got. So every camera you got plugged in is going to be listed within this list. So I think this one is the camera I require. There we go, which is this camera here that I'm looking at. But as you can see, the picture is very small. If we move this over, you can see the picture is very small. The reason being is because this is on default setting, and we don't want it on default. We want it on custom. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on there, click on custom. Picture may disappear, which it has, so it's not a problem. So now we need to go on to 920 by 1080, which is full HD, and our picture's back. The other thing you want to do while you're in here is you want to click this little box here that says deactivate when not showing. So what this does is when the camera, let's move this boxing to me, when you're not using this specific camera, it will turn the camera off. So if you've got a machine that's a little bit older and hasn't got quite the thinking power of what the newer machines have got, or maybe a laptop, you're not running 3 or 4 cameras at a time. You're only running the camera that you're actually using, which is really beneficial for machines that haven't got such a quick CPU or such memory. So always click the deactivate when not in use or when not showing button. We've got settings in here. You can set your frames per second, your video format, your color spec. You mean to get you started, you don't need to worry about those. There's, like I said at the beginning, there's tutorials online that can teach you a lot more about those settings than what I can teach you. You mean I know the basics and I've tweaked a lot of my settings, but I can't tell you the true reason why you're doing them. I mean, you go and watch the same videos that I've watched. There's a lot out there that can give you really good tutorials how to set up your picture quality, how to set your frames per second, and things like that. So you need to go and watch those to help you tweak it. I'm just giving you the basics. So we've done that. We've added our first camera. Obviously, you can hear me because I'm recording through the other side of OBS. But as you can see here, we've got no bouncing about. So the OBS I'm showing you is not receiving any audio. The reason being is because the webcam that I'm looking at here has had the audio deactivated because I deactivate all my audios to all my cameras. The reason being is because I want all the audio to go through my designated audio device, which is my headset and Nick's headset. So that's why I have all my cameras deactivated, because if not, you can sometimes pick up sound coming from a webcam and you're not aware that it's happening. So what we need to do to add audio is go back into our sources, the plus button, right at the top, audio input capture. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a capture device. So let's say audio. Uh, no, let's call it easy. Let's just call it mic. Make it easy. So go mic. Now it's going to bring up a list of every single audio device that you've got listed on your machine. If you've not deactivated your webcams, if you're using your webcams as audio, that's fine. It's not a problem at all. But you want to be using the same webcam audio all the time, really, to give you the same sound quality throughout the video or the live stream. Because if you're going through 3 or 4 different audio devices at one independent times, the audio is going to sound is going to change. So if you're going for one cam, stick to one cam because the sound quality will be consistent then. So we're going to go for my headset that I'm using now, which is the Jabralink 370. So I'm going to click on that, okay it. Now as you can see here, you can see that under mic it's bouncing, which means it's picking up on my audio. So the audio is being nice and crystal clear. Several things you can do to alter this audio, but I'm not going to go through that on this video. Maybe in another video I'll go through that. I'm just going to show you how to add noise cancellation, because if you're using a webcam, noise cancellation can help you. It's not going to get rid of everything, but it can help you. But again, it depends on your machine specification, depending on how good it actually works. So what I'm going to do is go onto mic. I'm going to right click onto mic. It's going to bring me up a whole list of bits. So we're going to go on filters. Now we're going to plus that, and it's going to bring up noise suppression. I think that's the one we use. Yeah, noise suppression. So click on that. So we're going to add that, and then you've got at the top here 2 different what you can have. Now, depending on your machine quality, is dependent on which one you can use. So we've got the first one is low CP usage, low quality. So obviously it's not going to give you so much noise suppression because you're only using a low quality of your CPU. Now, if you've got a machine that's not got a lot of CPU thinking power, then obviously that's the one you need to go for. But if you've got a good machine with plenty of thinking power, plenty of memory, then go for the higher one, which is the good quality one. So once you've chose the one you want to try, what you can do is click one, do a little bit of recording through OBS, play it back, see what you think. If you get a lot of noise, then try the other one. If your machine copes with it, great. If it doesn't, then you need to go back to the basic one. So that's our noise suppression. Now that should reduce the amount of noise you get through the microphone. Obviously the Jabra headsets have noise cancellation built into them, and with the suppression you virtually get no noise at all. You get the odd little tweak, but it's just a case of trial and error. But there are other pieces of software out there that you can install onto your machine to suppress the noise even more. So we've got a mic in, we've got a video source in. We're now going to install our second scene. So obviously we've got our intro cam to welcome people in. Now we want to go to our cameras over our lathe. You might have one camera, you might have 2 cameras. We're going to go for 2 cameras. So I'm going to do 2 cameras. I'm going to do one overhead view and I'm going to do one back view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set those up. Set them up exactly the same way as you actually just done this. Now, I'm going to show you on the rear view camera how to add a little bit of color correction just so you can tweak the color. But other than that, if you're happy with the color, leave it alone. So we're going to create another scene. So we're going to click on our plus button for scene, and let's call this one overlay. So it's going to go blank because obviously we're creating our new scene. So we're going to need to add our video capture device. So we'll call this lathe top camera. So again, now we need to select our lathe. Again, it's going to bring you the list of cameras you've got in there. I believe this one is my camera over the top of my lathe. Yep, there it is. So again, we're going to click this box. Make sure you click that box to deactivate your cameras when they're not being used. Again, we're going to go to custom. We're going to select the screen ratio we want. So 920 by 1080. Again, go and check out those YouTube videos to work out what's the best frame rate for your machine, what's the best video format for your machine. Check those out and see what's going to be best for your machine. Again, it's trial and error. So we're going to OK that. Right, so we've added that one. Obviously, the picture's the wrong way around. I mean, when I put my hand here, it looks like I'm on the top of the screen. It's not the right way to go. So what we need to do is we need to rotate that picture 180 degrees. So the way we do that is hover over our picture. We right click on our mouse or use our right mouse button, sorry, and we're going to go into transform. Now in transform, this gives you a massive list of different things that you can do. So we're going to go down to rotate 180 degrees. And there we go. It's rotated to what we want. It's the right way round. And we are now standing on the bottom of the screen rather than the top of the screen. So we're going to now, because we don't want that, we don't want to alter that, we're now going to lock that. So we're going to press this little padlock here to lock it into place. Now that can't be altered. You can't do nothing with that now. So that's solid. So what we need to do now is we need to add our audio source. So we're going to go to audio input capture. And we're going to go add existing because we've already got our microphone already installed. And again, you want to be using the same microphone throughout the whole, all your sources should have, all your scenes, sorry, really do need the same microphone for all of them. So we're going to go to mic, which is the one we've installed. As you can see there, my microphone is bouncing, means that it's picking me up crystal clear. Now, the good thing with using the existing one you've already installed is if you right click on that and go to filters, the filter's already installed. You haven't got to worry about that. That's already done. So that's the benefits of using existing audio devices as well, because any settings you've done to one in one scene will be in every single scene that you create using that audio device. So say, for instance, we want to make a closer up of the top of the lathe. Let's put these camera lights on so we can see. So say you want to make a picture of the headstock of your lathe closer up. So do we mess around with the source? Do we keep altering the picture? Or do we create another scene exactly the same as this scene, but closer up? That's the best way to do it. Don't keep messing around with your picture. When you've got your scene set, leave it as that sit. So what we can do is we can hover over to where we've got overlay, right click on that, and we can click on duplicate. So we duplicate it, and it's called overlay 2. We don't want that. Let's call that something different. Let's call that overlay close, because we're going to bring the picture in closer. So we're going to click OK. Now what that's done is that copied it. So the video camera is already in there, the audio is already there. So all we've got to do now is tweak the picture. So what we can do is click on this little padlock, which brings it loose. So we can now click on there, red line around it. So to bring that in zoomed, what we got to do is click and drag. So we'll hover over whatever corner you want, and we'll just increase that a little bit, move it to where we want it, say there. And then once we've got it where we wanted and the size we want, we just click the padlock, and that is our close-up image or scene created. Easy as that. Couldn't be any easier. And you can do that as many times with the same settings as you require. So if you wanted 4 different settings of different distances, there you go. So you're using that one camera and one setting to create multiple scenes for your viewers' entertainment. So now we want to do the back lathe. So we're going to again add another scene. So we're going to click on scene. We're going to call this lathe rear. So again, it's going to go dark because obviously we're going into new settings. So again, to start with, we're going to add our video capture device. Going to call this rear lathe. So we need to find our webcam now. So let's have a look at that one. Is it that one? Yep. So that's the one we want. Again, the picture's small. The reason being is because it's in default mode. So we're going to click that little, don't forget to click that little white box, because that will make your system run so much smoother with the individual cameras turned off when you're not being used. So we're now going to select custom. We're going to choose our 1920 by 1080. And there you go. That is our picture. So what we're going to do on this one, we're going to tweak the color a little bit because the color's not quite right. It looks a bit misty, doesn't it? It doesn't look crystal clear. So we're going to tweak it a little bit. So what we're going to do is hover over our rear, or click on our rear lathe. We're going to right click on it. It's going to bring up a list, and we want filters. So we're going to add filters. And then the filters I use, the 3 filters I add are color correction. This is my number 1. We want sharpen, number 2. And then the third one is the apply LUT, lux. So start with the lux. These come as standard with OBS. So this one just gives you a little bit crisper coloring, helps the coloring a little bit. Sharpen, I'm actually going to increase this up to 10. If you take it too far, I will just show you what it does if you take it too far. If you keep an eye on this area here, the black on the dust extractor, watch what happens when I increase the sharpen on that. You can see it's starting to get grainy as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It gets really grainy. And what you'll find is the actual image goes very, very grainy. So don't be tempted to crank up the sharpness because it doesn't work. So we're going to drop that down to about 10. I always keep all my cameras to about 10, which gives you a happy medium. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to go on to color correction. Now, the only ones I really play with on color correction are the gamma, contrast, and brightness. Maybe a little bit of saturation, but not very often. So because it looks a little bit misty, I want to get rid of that mistiness. I want to try and keep it, I want to make it nice and crisp and clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter that contrast until that starts to look, usually to about 30, 35, something like that, just so it gets rid of that little bit of mistiness. There you go. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So it's now going a little bit crispy, but it's a little bit bright now because the contrast is going to make it brighter. So what we need to do is drop the gamma down a little bit just to take that down, just so the colors start to not get dark, but just get rid of some of that brightness. And again, the same with the brightness, but not too far with the brightness, because if you take the brightness down too far, I'll do it here, that you'll see that just goes black. So you need to get that happy medium. Obviously, too far gives you um, too much. So we just want to drop that down a little bit. Now there, I'm happy with that. Now the reds look a little bit, do they look a little bit too red, or is that what it is? Maybe a little bit too red. But what we can do with the saturation, we can just drop that down a little bit, just to so we'll take the sharpness out of the red, so it's not dazzling in your face. So there you go. I'm quite happy with that now. Believe me, I've tweaked my cameras, spent many hours tweaking my cameras to try and get them right. So we've got a color right. I'm happy with that. I really like that. So if you want to zoom that in a little bit, exactly the same as we did the other one. So hover over and just stretch it out. Move it where you want it. Right, so we get it where we want it. So again, you just got to resize it till you get it where you want it. Somewhere like that in the middle. And there you go. I'm happy with that. So then we're going to press our little lock just to lock it off. And obviously we need to add audio because we've got no audio in there. So plus button, audio input capture. We're going to go to add existing microphone. Okay. And that's brought in all the settings that we had on all our previous mics. So there you go, just the basics on OBS. Just showing you how to bring a camera and an audio device in. Most people are gonna, or most of you guys are gonna be using the audio device that your camera is part of. So it's basically exactly the same. You're just selecting your webcam or your camera's audio. And like I say, you really should decide or really consider just using one audio device from one camera. I know that means that camera is going to be live all the time, but you're going to get better audio sound rather than keeping getting audio sound skipping from different places and the quality varying. So that's the best way I would personally go. But if you're turning, then obviously that's not a problem. But if you're doing live streaming, then if you're having airworms in, you really need a device that you can hear on as well. So a headset would be beneficial. But it's your call. You do what you decide, what you feel is right for your channel. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's helped people. If there's any questions, leave me a comment and we'll see if I can help you. Next video, going to do a few more things, bringing in a few other things to make your live streams a little bit more entertaining. We're going to touch on how to bring in banners and multimedia, small videos and things like that. And then we'll also go through a few settings for recording and also streaming, because the streaming and recording settings are totally different. OBS is good. You can set your streaming settings up to give you the best stream, and then you can also then set up your best the recording side of stuff to give you the best recording settings for the machine as well. So I'm not going to go through massively amount of detail, but I'm just going to show you how to set the basics. And again, it's trial and error. You just record a little bit, try it. If it's a better picture, leave it. If it's a worse picture, rejig the settings. But again, there are people on YouTube who can give you better tutorials than what I can give you. Um, because that's where I've got all my knowledge from. And to be honest, there's that much vast knowledge out there on OBS. You can't absorb it all. You just need to keep going watching the videos. So hope you've enjoyed. If it's new to you, if it's the first time you to the channel, I hope you've enjoyed it too. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and share, or like and share. And I'll see you on the next one. So anyway, guys, take care. Speak to you soon, and bye for now.